Strap on your go-go boots and slip into that little black dress. It's ladies' night and I plan to get absolutely trashed on free drinks, dancing late into the AM with my girlfriends. You wanna see the goods? Then cough up that quiche. This show ain't free. We're talking dance prostitution. Are you manly enough to step up to the dancing stage? The entrance fee is pain and submission, but it shall lead you to paradise. This is Superstar Dance Club. Developed by Rararshi and published by XS Games in 2001, SS Dance Club is a bargain bin title trying to ride the wave of arcade rhythm games, showing up right as DDR was beginning to lose steam. Originally named Love Para, Lovely Tokyo Para Para Mazume, the intent was to mimic said dance style mentioned thrice in the title, having you use the DDR pad, freeing your hands up to do whatever the hell this is. That's alright in concept, but our first major problem is that the timing and controller reads are off in all versions, making the DDR mats completely useless and forcing you to use your controller in a dancing game. A dancing game about a specific style where you would want your hands free to move around. I have seen complaints from all 5 people who own it on Steam, and their go-to method for fixing this is to change the monitor's refresh rate. For you totes authentic PS1 users, I recommend setting the face buttons to auto-fire. This game does not actually care about timing, it is just not reading your controller correctly. There's an entire laundry list of problems we could go over, but I'm not here to rage bait, and the short explanation for all of it is that the game was released unfinished, and I've got the receipts ready for later, when we're ready to get into it. First of all, I want to make it perfectly clear that I unironically love this game. It's complete trash, broken controls, a pathetically short track list, and no real end goal or rewards for doing well in the game. No one who takes rhythm games seriously would ever touch this, and with the terrible US cover art, no adult would dare humiliate themselves by bringing it up to the counter for purchase. Well, guess what? I clearly have no shame, and took joy in the exchange. I'll be real, there's a lot of nostalgia here. I first became acquainted with the game in high school, right before starting up a project, and actually made a terrible clone of this game. This was long before people cared about indie titles, so there are no traces of its existence, but I did theme this video's adopts to be reminiscent of what the characters looked like. If you can't tell, I'm a big fan of the main character's design, along with all those cute outfits, and if it weren't for them, this game would have most likely ended up in a trash can after about 5 minutes. We load in and are immediately met with the only character in the entire game, Susie, a totes 18-year-old dancer who moved to Tokyo in order to essentially become an idol, leading a para-para style dance troupe. She asks us for a player name, which means absolutely nothing, but if it's an excuse to draw our channel's mascot Ami in this art style, then I'm 100% on board. We then head out to the first and only level available to us, the Cat Star Lounge, and begin our journey. Usually I skip using a game's soundtrack to avoid any headache, but I refuse to believe whoever holds the rights to this game could even care. And the music itself? It's not horrible. This track is certainly far from my favorite, but I had to play it so many times in order to unlock the endings that the earworm burrowed deep into the back of my skull, laid some eggs, and is now claiming squatters' rights. So, I figured what better way to share the full experience than to get this song stuck in your head as well, so that you, the viewer, can suffer along with me. As for the gameplay itself, well, you're looking at it. Essentially, this is Metronome Parappa the Rappa, but with only 4 buttons, and not even the arrow keys because they had to be special. I'm looking at you, Pump It Up. Your only goal, don't fuck up, especially in the opening, which is arguably the most unforgiving part of the levels. Your button timing is not really important, it just needs to be read, which is why I suggest rapid fire for PS1 users who can't get the notes to sync up. I promise the problem is the game not reading the inputs, and not you. You can also tap the shoulder buttons randomly to excite the crowd into throwing more coin your way, which is really important, but is best saved for the pauses in the song when you have time to button mash. Beat the level, and like any dancing game you get your letter score, along with some cash in the form of coins, tossed your way like a budget stripper. Our first level down, we now have access to the shrine as well as the wrestling ring, so we beeline it straight to option 1. This is easily my favorite level in the game. It's got the best song, the best set design, and clearly the best costume. The difficulty is up, but only marginally, as we are still only allowed to do part 1 of the song. And that right there is where the first lie of many this game will tell you comes into play. On the packaging, it clearly says 21 levels, but what it means is that there are 7 levels that have 3 difficulties, although again, I have proof there was more planned. But for now, we need as much coinage as possible. This, and almost only this, is tied to your ending as well as what levels are unlocked, although the game is completely cryptic about how this works. And with each stage having a different value for the coins you gain, you only want to do the most difficult stage available to you at the time, since no matter what, it will be the one to raise your score the fastest, which in another opposite to how rhythm games are supposed to work, takes away your choice when it comes to song selection. Another dance finished, we are immediately greeted by lie number 2, non-existent unlockables. From time to time, Susie will mention new things she has purchased herself with our money, from new fashion and costumes to a new apartment by the beach, all things that you will never see in-game. I do understand that this game is trying to hint at you that you're making progress, but it feels worse because of the cock tease. It's like being told that last night you experienced the most pleasurable oral a human could possibly imagine, and you're just sitting there like, cool story bro, I do not remember any of that happening, but whatever. From best to worst, we now arrive at Fire Pro, playing the Ring Girl. And while I am a big fan of beachwear, as a costume this is most certainly the weakest of the bunch. The music is lame, the intro takes too long, the backup dancers are embarrassing.
I hate your hair. I hate your hair. Punch you in the face. I hate you. Oh.
We then kick it over to the Super Sentai show, and this one sucks much less. It's an original set piece with a fun costume and pretty okay music, 4 out of 5 stars. The day is saved, and it is time to make some big trouble in Little Chinatown. And we have another amazing outfit and song, but a somewhat generic background that I would be much more forgiving of if we were not about to immediately go right back around to the start and do every stage again, which is all you're going to do until this is over. Don't bunny hop to conclusions yet. In fairness to the game, we do now have access to the extended versions of the songs, but the repetition and railroading are ridiculous. When you jump up onto the average arcade setup, you're usually going to do 4 songs that you're feeling at the moment, chosen from a list so long you would never hit them all in one sitting. But in this game, you do the song it tells you to do, or you don't unlock the next song you need to do in order to unlock the next song. In a shocking twist, I actually unlocked the songs in a reverse order, with Akibara now being open to us. Turns out, if you get an S rank in every single stage up until this point, you can hit the money requirement early, but have no doubt this is meant to be the final stage, with the final variant being unlocked after the end credits, and having double the payout of the next stage on that list. I really do adore her costume here, but I'm very suspicious of this cat. Swear I've seen it somewhere. Circus time, and while I'd love to go searching for some clown girls, we've got one last costume change to pull off. They can't all be winners, but we are a professional and get to work. Sure, the smell of zoo animals in an enclosed space is horrendous, but we do it with a smile on our face because we need to get paid, which will literally be our only goal from this point on. Be prepared to hear the same 2 songs on repeat depending on how long you wish to torture yourself. This game has 5 endings, which are really just different PNG files that you get to see along with a short message. This is all based on your current coinage, but the threshold for each ending is ridiculously high, and because of the score multiplier being based on difficulty, you're just going to do Cat's Eye Club on repeat until you get ending 3, and then you can do Akibara on repeat till you get part 5. Even if you really like a song, level 1 multiplies your score by 10, level 21 multiplies it by 10,000. You are never going to go back and play level 1. From what I've seen on YouTube, most people barely put more than an hour or 2 in before never touching it again. In fact, people care so little about this game that I am legitimately in the dark over some hidden content I found on the disc. There is an entire 8th and 9th stage worth of assets on that disc. However, there are only 7 stage songs in the OST, and only 7 costumes. In contrast, there are no assets whatsoever that would suggest it could be accessed from the stage select screen. However, I do have a recreation of what one of the stages may have looked like. I must stress that I could be completely wrong about this, and maybe there's a special version of the credits, or some other random trigger that will pop if you play another 100 hours or so. I do not have the patience, or the desire to find out myself, but would love to be proven wrong by any person able to find out what this really is. So, that was Superstar Dance Club, a game I planned to spend about 5 minutes on as a quick filler episode, and somehow ended up making what sadly could be the most in-depth look at this game ever, which I'm not sure whether to be proud or ashamed over. But I had questions, and there are quite literally 0 answers out there. Even when looking through playthroughs, not a single person posted the final ending. And I would never ask someone to waste that much time anyway. My love for this game is based purely on nostalgia and a personal interest in the art style, but when being unbiased, it's not a game I would recommend, especially on Steam since it's just a ROM anyway with keyboard binds for PS1 controller commands. If you have some strange urge to give this one a shot, it is very easy to find for the PS1. You can probably get a weekend rental's worth of entertainment out of it. Obviously want to give a huge shout out to everyone who got adopts this week. This terrible game ironically has gotten more art than any other review I've done so far. And thank you to everyone for watching. We will be getting back to more spoopy games soon, and I will catch you in the next one.